can show you some pictures here of a US fighter jet that's come down off Kuwait. We don't know much detail about it, but you can see here where the pilot ejects. It perhaps has taken a hit from missiles in the area. But, Caroline, that just reminds us that it's not over in a flash. In fact, Donald Trump's talked about this going on for up to 4 weeks.
No, it's not over in a flash, and it's not a game. You know, we saw at the very beginning of last month the US and that almost surgical movement in Venezuela. This is a very, very different creature that we're dealing with here, and there's lots of moving parts, and there is a very, very angry regime who is not only taking its aggression out on the US and Israel, but is just spraying missiles across the whole Gulf, and they've, you know, been hitting Cyprus and Qatar and other parts of the Middle East. So when you have that sort of irrational type behaviour, it becomes very dangerous for civilians and that sort of thing, and we have seen civilian carnage out of that. So, look, I understand that, you know, at this point my understanding is that there's 3 US servicemen that have been lost. There's been some civilian casualties, but, you know, depending on how everyone chooses to behave going forward over, like you said, the next 4 weeks, there unfortunately could be more of that.
Let's go to Rita Panahi, our own Persian princess. And this is a really telling contribution from her on Outsiders yesterday.
And I just want to conclude this editorial with this message to the late Supreme Leader. پدر سگ خاک به سرت بسوز تو جهنم.
Yeah, Gemma, that means you son of a bitch, shame on you, burn in hell, addressed to the Ayatollah. Now, Rita's emblematic of what's at stake here. Yeah. She grew up as a girl there, had to wear the veil, death to America. I've been to Tehran, you see all these posters. It's good to see her tell it as it is.
I felt so happy for her, and I was saying to a colleague, a former colleague who you know, Molly Smith, as well today, and imagine one day Rita being able to take her child to a free Iran. Wouldn't that just be incredible?
Wouldn't that be amazing, yeah.
I just... And again, as a woman, I'm sort of like a reluctant feminist, but if you stop and clinically look at how women in particular, I know men have been dealt a very poor hand there as well, but if you look at women, you don't travel unless your husband or your father gives you permission to travel. Ditto work, child marriage is legal, all of this stuff. 16-year-old rape victim was executed for having been raped. I mean, there are hundreds of thousands of these stories, and yet people in this country who call themselves political elite or whatever, or academia, the elite of academia, are shilling for this ideology.
They call themselves human rights activists.
And they are nothing of the sort.
Shocking. Let us go back to a great memory. 30 years ago today. How time flies when you're having fun. John Howard was elected Prime Minister. Have a look.
My first words are addressed to all of the people of Australia, that I am very conscious of the enormous responsibility that has been placed upon me and upon my colleagues by the verdict of the Australian people today.
And so began a golden era. We're nearly out of time. 10 seconds each. I'll start with you, Caroline, on just how good that government was. It looks better, given everything we've seen since too.
So good. And I was too young to vote back then, but I do remember watching that on Channel 2.
And you, Gemma?
Come back, sir. Your country needs you. Desperately.
Oh, he's coming back. I'm hoping to talk to him next week because of the wonderful documentary Chris Yeoman's put together. Thanks for joining us, Gemma and Caroline.